Alright, we're back at it. We gotta keep going with this Morgrem hunt. It's currently our longest hunt, I'm pretty sure, during this shiny badge quest. It has been the longest. So that must mean it'll happen soon, surely, right? That's the way that works, right? If we're owed it, it's gotta happen. Obviously. That's the way probability works. It's like the gamblers say, I'm due. I'm due. Surely we're due, right? Due for a shiny. There's no other explanation. We're just due. Due for a shiny. I was watching a video the other day about fossil Pokemon and which ones are the best, and apparently pretty much all the fossil Pokemon were pretty trash. But there was one generation that introduced these crazy hybrid fossil Pokemon that weren't even really like fossil Pokemon. They were like fossil chimeras of different species mixed together. And those were the fossils in Gen 8, aka the generation we hunted our fossil in. And guess which one was the best of them? Dracovish. So basically Dracovish is a beast. And once he gets his signature move at level 60, I believe, Vicious Rend, he will freaking destroy. And apparently all he needs is the Choice Scarf, which apparently you can find the Choice Scarf in the city I just got to, right after the Glimwood Tangle. So I went in there, grabbed up the Choice Scarf, and now once he's 60, I'll throw that on there and he'll just be wiping whole teams because he's a gangster. Also, we only need one more cluster of max mushrooms, and then we can G-max our Grimmsnarl, and then we'll have 3 G-max Pokemon on our team. Which I think that'll be it. I don't think we're gonna shiny hunt any more that are G-max compatible. But that's pretty sick if you ask me. 3 G-max Pokemon. And this shiny badge quest has actually turned out to be pretty fun. Because we get to do all the really cool, obscure hunts that you don't usually see people do. In fact, I saw someone do a shiny-only playthrough, where they weren't doing a shiny badge quest, they were specifically just getting 6 of them to beat the game with. Or they were beating, I guess, the Isle of Armor. They were doing a shiny-only playthrough, though. Isle of Armor. And, they just did wild hunts the whole time. They didn't do any scripted or tree shake or anything kind of interesting, which is fine. People can do what they feel like. I also saw a video of a dude doing a Zygarde hunt, the Dynamax Adventures, which I did Zygarde. And it's the first time I heard of someone that finally was using the strat that I was using, which is repeating paths. Which you kind of have to do with Zygarde. Because if you just go with any old path, you're not going to get the Pokemon that you need in order to beat them. If you want to win every time, you have to find a good path and repeat it over and over and over. And he was running into the same problem that I was running into, which is where you get a shiny that isn't Zygarde and then you want to keep it because shinies are cool, so then you have to retire that path and start again. Either that or you run out of Dynite ore. or whatever ore it gives you in the Dynamax Adventures, because you have to pay that in order to keep repeating the same path. But I wouldn't repeat just any path. I would repeat offline the path that had an Alolan Sandshrew that I could get my hands on. And then I would use that Alolan Sandshrew to one-shot Zygarde in his first form. And you could win very consistently with having pretty low skill bots on your team. So you could just do it offline. And just beat it over and over if you play offline. And don't quote me on this, but this is how my brain remembers it. I could be wrong, but I thought when you played by yourself, you could turn off animations, and it made it go that much faster because animations don't play. But when you play online with other people, I think animations by default always play. Welcome back! Hopefully this is a stream where we get the shiny, because I'm pretty sure we are right there at about full odds, if not past it. And as we all know, once you've hit odds, the game basically owes you the shiny. You couldn't possibly keep going and not get the shiny. It's just not the way the world or RNG works. Obviously. Well, thanks for your vote of confidence. Yeah, we probably are already over odds. I didn't realize that it only saved my VODs to a certain degree, so when I make my video, I'm only going to be able to pull my my highlights. So it's going to be a pretty short video. I wanted to make it more epic, but I hadn't been saving them because I thought I could just go back. But it doesn't save them in perpetuity, so it is what it is. I'll have to put in some filler stuff explaining things. Oh, I didn't even notice that you do those crying faces. That's alright. When it takes a long time, it just feels that much better when you finally get it. You can look up a video by Supreme RK9 when he was hunting Registeel. That was an interesting one. Sure, how did your day go? I'm guessing quite well. Oh, I guessed wrong. What's the problem? Someone steal your bike or something? I've been there before. That sounds pretty trash. Who likes amusement parks? It's not like they have amuse in the name. That is amusement parks for you. They milk you in whatever ways they can. And if they took you on a day, when, like, you know, it's cheaper for schools to go or something, then there's even more people there. Because you think going on a weekday would be like slow. But usually when your school goes, all the schools are going. So therefore, you know, it's packed to the gills with people. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were. Yeah, the best thing to do with amusement parks is find someone that has like a season pass, have them take you on a slow day, and then you can actually get on rides. But it's always going to be spendy for the food and stuff. Yeah, it sounds about right. When my kid would go to an amusement park that's by my house, usually the only thing we would buy is they had this they had this soda that was like $12 for it, but you get a cup, and it's like a special cup, and if you get this cup specifically, then it gets free refills the whole day. Free. So you pay $12 one time, but then your kid can go over to every different stand that has a fountain and refill their soda all day. So that way, you know, it's hot and they get to drink soda all day. So that's kind of not bad. Yeah. That's the only thing, though, that's like an okay deal. Everything else, it's like, you know, $15, $20 for something that's not worth that, obviously. But that's the only thing that was kind of worth it, and it's only worth it if your kid gets a whole bunch of sodas, and it's also just because it's fun for them to do. Refill's not too bad. I'm sure you couldn't get a refill on your mac and cheese. So you can drink cheese all day to hydrate yourself with cheese. Did you end up getting through any of the lines and actually riding anything? The one I'm talking about has a water park attached. So people would go back and forth between the water park and the amusement park, depending upon how bad the lines were and stuff like that. But eventually you had to kind of commit to a line if you were going to get to ride one. I mean, all of them can be fun the first time you ride them. There's one ride at this amusement park that's pretty good. It usually has a pretty bad line. But the ride's fairly quick, so the line does go fairly quick. And the only thing that's bad about it is it goes forwards and then stops and goes backwards. And if you aren't cognizant of how the ride works, when it goes from going forward to backwards, it'll slam your head back against the pad when the ride reverses. So what you have to do is already place your head against the pad when it's about to go, so then it doesn't smack your brain against the pad, which doesn't hurt you, it just is jarring. Yeah, the spinning ones, because they cause people to get sick and stuff, a lot of the places will tone them down. Surprisingly, actually, a lot of the places that have the better rides are like the one that I go to, where none of the rides are originally from there. All of the roller coasters and rides were purchased from other amusement parks when they retired those rides. So those are like, in a lot of ways, better rides because they're retired from other parks. So they're kind of old school. Like there's a roller coaster there that was according to the sign that they have posted there, the first roller coaster ever to go upside down. And it's a pretty short one, but that's what's cool about it. You can hop on, zip through, and then get back in line and ride it again. And the lines are not usually bad because it loads up and goes fairly quick. Well, that's pretty lame, actually. Hopefully they had a good reason for that, like it needed to be dark or something, or else they're just being lazy and not hiring enough people. One thing that's cool there about the one I'm talking about is they have a magic show that's there. So if ever you want to take a little break, it has like a little snack bar next to it. And if you have kids with you, you can go in and they'll think it's quite entertaining seeing this person using recycled tricks from other magicians. What he is legit good at, though, is card throwing. The guy who's a magician there, he's pretty good at, like, whipping cards pretty accurately. But he has an apprentice that will sometimes go... I think he has 2 apprentices, actually. But the one of his apprentices that you see the most often, you'll see him do his illusions, but he'll do them not as good. And it's just funny, because you've seen that illusion before, and then you see someone do it not as good, and then you're like, this doesn't hit the same. Like, he had one where he has, like, a floating table. He would, like, hold the tablecloth, and then the table, like, floats around or whatever, right? And when the main magician would do that one, he would walk across all of the tables that you're eating at right in front of you and, like, float the table in front of you. But his apprentice would only do it on, like, the first couple of tables that are next to the stage. He wouldn't, like, fully go out. And it makes me feel like he's not confident he can sell the illusion when he has people watching him from every side. But there was one time where they were taking like a volunteer from the audience, and Theodore went up. So he has a photo with the magician and like the 2 apprentices somewhere from when he was like, I don't know, 8 or something. And what's funny is he's such a tall kid. He's been tall enough to ride that roller coaster I was telling you about. That's their biggest one. He's been able to ride that since he was about that age, because he's a really tall kid, so he's been big enough since he was pretty young. He's a tall kid. That's all good, man. I will talk to you soon, though. And hopefully you think back about this later and you remember the trip more fondly. Sometimes that happens. This is when Nehemiah needs to step in and take over. To represent the chat and the luck it brings. Which hasn't worked lately, but still could. We're just looking for purple pants, everybody. We know what it looks like. It's purple pants. Purple pants, blue skin, white hair. Purple pants, blue skin, white hair. Purple pants, blue skin, white hair. We want a shiny emo boy. A shiny emo boy. It's been long enough and I'm starting to get annoyed. I want my shiny emo boy. Wowie, wowie. Shiny for me. Shiny for free. Oh man, this game is kind of being lame by not giving me what I want. Which is a shiny.
Chris. Yeah, Chris. Okay, all right, cool. I thought you was gonna go both. I thought. Nah, right. I mean, Usher's still the greatest. Okay. But Chris, I just know him more personally, I guess. Okay. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me think. Chris. Yeah, Chris. Okay, all right, cool. I thought you was gonna go both. I thought. Nah, right. I mean, Usher's still the greatest.
Man, I feel like it's been long enough. for this shiny, you know what I mean? Call me crazy. I have read articles published by data miners that have listed the rock jump as a scripted encounter and not being shiny locked. But I have not been able to find video evidence of someone actually getting one. Did the article have any other interesting possible hunts? paranoid. Officially Pokemon Online, is that what you're talking about? Is that what PMO is? Pokemon Online? I have heard they're developing one. Oh, pissed you off. Okay, fair enough. Okay, for Tandemaus. Ah. Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm doing a full odds scripted Morgrem hunt. Which all the ones I've been doing are full odds. But I'm pretty sure over odds at this point. I haven't been counting encounters, but pretty sure I'm over odds, so now I'm getting kind of paranoid. So I was just researching right now. I jumped into the Curry Shiny Hunting Discord, and I was like, hey, has anyone seen someone get this one shiny before? Because I couldn't find any videos or photo evidence of anyone getting it. Like, I've seen plenty of people getting Morgrem in the Glimwood Tangle, but they did it with hidden encounters, not from the one-time rock jump spawn that I'm doing right now, which I think would be cooler, seeing as how I haven't seen it before, and everything I've read online suggests it isn't shiny locked or anything, but I'm just starting to get a little bit paranoid. Which game are you doing Tandemaus in? Are you talking, is that Scarlet and Violet? I guess that would have to be Scarlet and Violet, wouldn't it? Because I don't think it's in Legend ZA, and I think you can get it in Champions, but I would kind of doubt you'd be shiny hunting in Champions, though you can do it. Violet. Fair enough. I did Tandemaus, and it's a little bit tricky because literally the only difference in the shiny is its little pants. But the thing that I relied upon is the auto-battling. Because if you just send it out to auto-battle it and it KOs it, it's not shiny because it won't KO a shiny. So I would just have it basically mass murder Tandemauses so I didn't even have to like look at them. I would just be like, cull this world of Tandemaus. And then when one finally shines, your one will be like, I don't want to kill that, it's shiny. And then you go over and take a look and you go, dang, them pants be looking fly. That's what I suggest. Are you doing it with Shiny Charm? Are you making a sandwich? Are you doing outbreaks? Because if you did an outbreak and a sandwich and Shiny Charm, you'd probably get it in about 3 seconds. So I don't know if you want to cheese it to that degree. When I did my Recluse Mark Rotom hunt in Violet, I just did Rotoms at where they spawn by that lighthouse or whatever, and I used sandwiches for them, and I had the Shiny Charm, and it took me like a couple months before I got a Recluse marked one, and I caught a lot of them shiny, like a grip. I ended up getting a whole bunch of them with all kinds of other uncommon marks. Oh, you're trying to, like, trade for one? It can't be that hard to get. Do you have the Shiny Charm? Do you have ingredients to make sandwiches? Because if you have the Shiny Charm and you make a sandwich and you go to where they spawn, it wouldn't take all that long. Just depends upon what method you're trying to use. Wow, you thought you did, but you don't have it. Ah. Well, that would help if you completed the decks. It doesn't take a super long time. I mean, it takes a bit of a commitment, but if you thought you already had it, you're probably already pretty deep into the decks, if not close to completing it. If you completed it and you just never went and grabbed it, then you know what you need to do. How much Herba Mystica do you have? That's the next question. And do you know how to farm Herba Mystica? Because if you don't have Herba Mystica, there's a little guide I found a long time ago, which there might be a better one now, that shows you which raids give Herba Mystica, which kinds, and stuff like that. And then you can just farm online raids for people that are hosting those. There's also channels in Discords usually where they're hosting the raids that give good Herba Mystica drops. That way you can farm Herba Mystica to make sandwiches. Then you just go buy the rest of the ingredients from the food shops around so that you can make a sandwich to give you a good sparkle chance at Mousehold. So you can do that or the charm or both. And if you do both, doesn't take long. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the sandwich guide. Okay, so this is the guide I used before. So it says it's updated. That's good. And Mousehold is it a pure normal type? I don't recall. Yeah, it's a pure normal type. I'm pretty sure that's tofu. Yep, normal is tofu. So you would do... Okay. 1 serving of each of the following ingredients, depending upon the type. So you do 4 tofu. It looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you do 4 tofu. And then any 2 Herba Mystica, and you can mix and match them. So yeah, it doesn't even matter which Herba Mystica that you do, apparently, to make a shiny sandwich. That seems weird. Is that true? And any 2 Herba Mystica. Huh. So yeah, you would just do 4 tofu, I believe. Hang on a second here. Let me reread this. 1 serving of each of the following ingredients: tomato, onion, green pepper, hamburger. Use 2 servings of ingredients for the type you want. Oh, okay. So you do 2 servings of tofu. This doesn't make sense. 1 serving of each of the following ingredients. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's saying whatever you double up on, it will give you that typing. So you'd use 2 tofu, and then 4 of a different ingredient. I guess you'd probably split them, because you don't want it to be, you don't want to double up on any other type. So you just do one individual of 4 different types, I guess? And this isn't what I remember it being. And then 2 Herba Mystica. And then that would make you a sparkling normal type sandwich. And then if you didn't get it from that sandwich, you could reset and get your ingredients back, I believe. Let me see if I can find a link for that. Sandwich guide. So the one I used to do, it just did pickles and cucumbers as like the filler ones. But I think this one's more accurate. So yeah, let's do this Reddit post. Hang on a second here. It's from 4 years ago. Is that the most accurate one? Okay, so 3 years ago it was updated. So yeah, I think that this is the most updated one. So yeah, if you can see that link, follow that guide there. You can make a sandwich that will make you normal sparkling, and that will increase your odds quite a bit. You just want to turn off auto-saving if you haven't already. That way, if you don't get it during the sandwich timer, the sparkling timer, you can reset and do it again. You can also, I forget how you reset them, but you can also look for an outbreak of mouse hold as well. And then if you KO mouse holds on the outbreak, that'll increase your shiny chance as well. And then, of course, you can get the shiny charm to increase your chances. Or you can jump into a friend's game that has the shiny charm. And you can actually hunt inside their game and use their shiny charm. You're welcome. And like I said, there's certain Pokemon that have good times of or good ratios of dropping Herba Mystica. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that guide. Yes, okay. There's this as well. So I'll link this also for you. These Pokemon, and you have to specifically get them in, looks like 5-star or 6-star raids, depending upon which one you're going for. It gives you more, I think, if you get a 6-star of it. But these ones give good ratios of Herba Mystica drops as well. Yeah, they have a thing called Union Circles. I think it's called a Union Circle. But if you have a friend, they can host a Union Circle in their game, and you can join it. And then that basically has you join their game. And if they have the shiny charm or a raid, not a raid, but or like an outbreak or whatever, you can go into their game and farm their raid using their shiny charm. And they can also make a sandwich for you. So if they have ingredients for a sandwich, they can make one, and that will affect the both of you while you're in their Union Circle. That's how I got my sister a shiny Dreepy. I took her to a Dreepy. I took her to a Dreepy outbreak in my game and cooked a sandwich, and then she got a Dreepy. You also can go into their Area 0, and you can shiny hunt their game's version of the Paradox Pokemon. So it's the way that you can shiny hunt in the wild the opposite game's Paradox Pokemon. So you could jump into somebody's copy of Scarlet through a Union Circle and go to Area 0 with them, and then get all the Area 0 Pokemon. So it's a cool way to complete the decks as well. If you're missing specifically Paradox Pokemon, I should say. And you can also shiny hunt Paradox Pokemon that way, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that until I'd already bought both the versions of the game and beat them both, so I could shiny hunt the Paradox Pokemon because you can't hatch eggs with them. So I knew I couldn't hatch eggs to shiny hunt them because they don't make eggs. So I was like, oh man, it's forcing me to buy the other game so I can shiny hunt all the Paradox Pokemon in the other game. And then I realized afterwards I could have just jumped in a Union Circle with somebody that had the opposite game and shiny hunt that way. Though I would have had to hound someone who had it, or my sister or something. And then I don't think my shiny charm would apply in their game. So therefore I'd have to find someone with the shiny charm in order to be able to use the shiny charm. I mean, Violet's good too. They're both good. It depends upon if you like the like futuristic Pokemon better than the prehistoric Pokemon. I think they're both cool though. I think they're both cool. I will say that I think that the naming of the ones in Violet was kind of disappointing. Just putting Iron before everything was kind of lame. Where like Screamtail and Flutter Mane and all that is much cooler naming scheme than just putting Iron before everything. Iron Thorns, Iron Hands, Iron Butt. That one was one they canceled. That one they were gonna put it in the game, but they removed it since it's a kids game. Even the legendary ones, Iron Leaves and stuff like that, or whatever one it was. It's just dumb. Why put Iron before everything? Come up with some better names than just putting Iron before a word. I mean, I'm similar. I thought that Miraidon looked cooler than Koraidon. But in retrospect, I think they both look pretty cool, and their shiny forms are quite cool as well. I got both of them by doing the whole GameStop event thingy, and they both look pretty sick. But you know what was the most disappointing thing about that? Is I thought for sure that you could ride on the shiny ones. I thought you could just like switch which one was your rideable one or whatever. Turns out, no. They won't let you change which one is your riding Pokemon, so you can't ever ride on the shiny version. And I'm like, what the heck? What a stupid thing to do to make it to where you can't switch your riding one to the shiny one that you got so you can ride around on a shiny. Like, seems like a pretty stupid oversight. I was very disappointed by that. You can only battle with the shinies, you can't ride on them. But hey, I mean, if you get a used copy of Scarlet, it wouldn't cost that much, and the game's pretty easy to beat too. So, if you wanted to have a complete game in that one, you could do that. And then if you have Home, you can transfer all of your Pokemon from one game to the other, so you can actually auto-complete the other Pokedex. You just make a living dex in one, connect it to Home, transfer everything over, transfer it to your other game. And basically, as soon as you start Scarlet, you'll just be auto-completing your Pokedex. You just got to get to the point in the game where it awards it to you. Well, if you're going to start over, you might as well start over in the other version of the game and play that through. That's what I'd recommend. If you look on Facebook locally or whatever, and you just kind of like are watching, you can probably find a copy of Scarlet for like $35-40, which is cheaper obviously than getting it new. Throw that in, play through the game a second time, transfer over all the Pokemon you already caught, be already close to getting the shiny charm in that new game as well, and yeah, experience the game again. Plus, it has a different antagonist. Slightly different plot. It's worth playing through, I think. If you're going to play it over again, you might as well play the opposite version if you can afford to buy another copy of the game, that is. When I played Violet before I even got to the school, I had already found a shiny. I got a shiny Azurill by a pond before I got to the school. So I had a shiny Azumarill that I used for my whole playthrough. And it turns out it's also pretty good for farming raid dens, because it has it can learn Belly Drum, so it's pretty good for raid den farming. So I also used it to farm raid dens for Urban Mystica after I beaten the game. So I think I'm probably going to be wrapping up the stream in a little minute here. I did my research to make sure I wasn't losing my mind about being able to actually shiny hunt this Pokemon, because I think you can. I just couldn't find any documentation of it. Hopefully somebody on Discord will also quell my paranoia by replying to me and telling me, yeah, I've seen someone that got it. But I'm going to keep going for now. It depends upon if you have the shiny charm or not. It's got the same base odds as Scarlet and Violet if you don't have the shiny charm, which is 1 in 4,095 or whatever it is, 4,065, something like that. And then with the shiny charm, it's 1,365. And then what's interesting about Sword and Shield is Sword and Shield didn't have overworld shinies, though there was overworld spawns, but you couldn't tell if they were shiny unless you encountered them. So that was kind of interesting. And there was also no shiny hunting method that increased your odds. There was supposed to be one where you would KO wild Pokemon and it would make Brilliant Aura ones appear with a higher shiny chance, which did work, but they capped out the Brilliant Aura one spawning to 3% of the time. So technically, even if you KO 500 of them, which increases your chance of the Brilliant Aura ones being shiny, they still only spawn 3% of the time. So it effectively is not really a shiny hunting method. It doesn't really do anything. It makes 3% of the time something be more likely to be shiny, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't actually increase anything. So the only thing that actually has increased odds of shiny is, of course, Masuda method. So if you do Masuda method, hatching eggs with a Ditto with a foreign language from the language you're playing through, and you have the shiny charm, that stacks as well, or Dynamax Adventures. The shiny charm does work with Dynamax Adventures, and that's a pretty decent method. And Dynamax Adventures is basically, with the shiny charm, I think it's like 1 in 25 or something like that of Dynamax Adventures to get a shiny. But the Dynamax Adventures do take like 10 minutes to complete, so it's not a very fast method. But it's fun, because you're doing big raid den adventures with other people if you want to, or bots. And you have a chance of getting all kinds of different legendaries and ultra beasts, but you do have to have the DLC to do that, because it's in the Crown Tundra DLC. But it's more of a true shiny hunting game because you can't get overworld shinies. Overworld shinies just make the game, or make shiny hunting a lot easier, because you don't actually have to encounter it, so you can do a lot more encounters at once, because everything that spawns can spawn shiny. It's like it was in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where you can just basically sit in the corner and let things spawn, and eventually something will spawn in shiny. They dumbed it down even further, though, with Legend ZA, because in Legend ZA, if something appears shiny, you can save it. It'll basically always stay shiny unless you let the in-game clock change from day to night or night to day. That's the only way that it ever despawns them. So once you get a shiny, it stays there and saves. You can save shinies in Scarlet and Violet, but they don't like auto-save and never go away, basically. You loved it because of that? I have the exact opposite feeling about it. I think that kind of trivialized it a bit, but I can see how it would be good for people that like aren't used to the brutality of a true shiny hunt. Somebody knocking? No, I think it was like creaking. I think I was hearing creaking of the floorboards of somebody above me. But yeah, I think we're going to do 5 more encounters of the Morgrem, and then I'm going to go figure out what I want to do for dinner. So there's 1. I mean, I don't recommend shiny hunting in Sword and Shield then. But if you have no patience, then I would take what little patience that you do have and work on completing the shiny charm. Then if you take that shiny charm and hunt with that, that's going to already be easier. If you take that shiny charm and then add on top of it making sandwiches, that'll be that much more easy. And then if you layer that on top of outbreaks, and with outbreaks I think you have to KO, I forget how many it is, it's like 40 of them or something, and it increases your odds quite a bit. All those things layered on top of each other can make shiny hunting pretty quick in Scarlet and Violet. Well, I just have one kid that still lives at home. I only have him on my days off, so he's not here today. But he likes like everything. Lately, he's been really into spaghetti and meatballs, so I've been making that for him. He really likes hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, all the kind of standard stuff. He likes his mom's cooking better, but that's legit though, because she's actually quite good at cooking. He has less trust in my cooking, so he'll just go with the things that he's had from me before that he knows he likes, like spaghetti and meatballs. I actually offered to make potato soup for him because I looked up a recipe, and he was like, I'd rather have pizza. And I was like, okay. And I think we ended up having hot dogs, but I just think he didn't maybe want to wait. He was pretty hungry. I think that's fair. But yeah, I think this is going to be the last encounter for us for this stream. But yeah, if you use those guides I sent over to you, make some sandwiches. If you run out of Herba Mystica, use the other guide that I sent that shows you which Pokemon to farm. Potato soup is good. Especially baked potato soup. I don't know if you ever had that before. It is pretty good. I was making kind of the lazy man's version of it, where you take frozen hash browns and you put it into Instapot with like all the other ingredients and just kind of heat it all up. And that was kind of what I was going for, is the Instapot hash brown potato soup kind of thing that I looked up, and I thought it sounded pretty legit. But yeah, that's the last encounter. We're wrapping up the stream. Thanks for popping in. Good luck on the Tandem Mouse. Let me know how it goes next time I talk to you. Goodbye.